No, you're good. All right,
my
welcome
man.
back to episode
Let's go for it.
19.
Let's do it.
Ben, be quiet. I'm doing the intro. All right, everyone, welcome back. Okay. Episode 19 of the podcast here on YouTube. So, if you're watching this after the fact, as the VOD on YouTube, you'll probably notice that it's a little bit shorter than the typical lengths of the podcast because there's not really a whole lot of stuff to talk about this time, at least in comparison to normal. I actually thought about literally just waiting another week or two before doing the next one. I was like, you know what? It's probably better that we just get something out there. So here we are talking about I guess pretty much everything that has come out over the last couple of weeks. And starting off, we have an update on the Hollywood strikes that have been going on. And definitely good news this time. And that is because the WGA strike, aka the writer's strike, has now officially ended. So, they've worked out an agreement, a new deal. So now they can start writing stuff again, whether it's movies, TV shows, whatever. So that's definitely good, especially for us, so they obviously we're not going to go over all the details of the new deal that they worked out, but from what I had seen, I mean, it definitely looks pretty good. Definitely a lot better than what their original offer was to the WGA, but I think they did a pretty good job with that. And unfortunately, though, there's still one other strike that is still going on, and that is the SAG-AFTRA strike, aka the actor strike. So even though, the studios can now start hiring writers again, and, these writers can continue writing stuff that they were already hired for, filming for these things still cannot happen, obviously, because, the writer's strike is still, or not the writer's strike, the actor's strike is still going on. But also good news with that, in that the SAG-AFTRA union has actually started meeting again with the studios today. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they both returned to the negotiating table today. And, that's pretty much it. That's all we know about it so far. We don't really know if any other offers were thrown out there. We don't know how the negotiations are proceeding as of now, but I would imagine, considering how quickly the studios worked out a deal with the WGA after they met, what was it, like a week or two ago, I would imagine they're probably going to want to do something similar with SAG-AFTRA. So hopefully, and this might be copium on my part, I would imagine that, if they're as dedicated to getting a deal done with them as they were at WGA, I'd imagine we'll probably have a deal done and the strikes ended by the end of next week, I would imagine. But
damn,
again,
mark his words.
It's tough to say with these things, obviously. Anything can happen. They could have more disagreements about anything. It's who knows what's happening behind the scenes, but it is my hope that they have it done by the end of next week, because we need some of these productions to get back up and running again, because as I'm sure all of you, do not want to see significant delays again. So we shall see how it goes. But again, at the end of the day, definitely good news. Obviously the WGA strike has ended, and it appears, quote, appears, that the SAG-AFTRA strikes might also soon be coming to an end as well. But we'll see how it goes. But that is the update regarding that. And with that being said, we will now move on to the next segment, which is Star Wars. And as always, I guess not as always, but as of late, we will start off with Ahsoka. So what has it been? 2 episodes has released since the last podcast, I think. Episode 6 and
No
7.
clue.
I think that's about right.
Think
But
so.
I mean, yeah, did you before I say my piece, did you wanna say anything about those 2 episodes?
I mean, oh, not deep in lore like you are, so yeah, I'll definitely listen to what you have to say. But as far as someone who's not as up to date or knowledgeable, I'm digging it all.
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna dive into, all the little bits of lore and details that, you had to watch Rebels and the Clone Wars, because if I did that, this podcast would literally be like 5 hours. But so I'm not gonna really go into any of that stuff. More so just what I thought about the episodes and as the show overall so far. I was actually surprised. A lot of people I saw, and I think I brought this up to you before, Evan, too. A lot of people didn't like episode 7, like the last episode. They thought that it was like a pretty drastic downgrade in comparison to the other episodes, but I did not think that at all. Like, that was not my first thought. As soon as I, finished watching, I thought it was still really good. I mean, was it like the best episode of the show so far? Obviously not, but I thought it did. And from what I had seen, I didn't really do a whole lot of digging, but I guess the main issues people had with the episode was that it didn't progress the main overall story as much as the other episodes did. And I guess a lot of people didn't like Ezra's portrayal either in live action. So again, I had no issues with either of those things. I mean, I thought it progressed the story just fine. I mean, like, the main characters like finally all like met up again, right? Like Ezra, Sabine, Ahsoka, like we got to see them all finally be in the same place again. And it was revealed that Thrawn's obviously almost done, loading up the ship with whatever cargo they're loading it up with, which I have no idea what it is. I would assume, like, my theory is that it's probably like the corpses of like stormtroopers that have died, or like Night Sisters that have died like over the years on the planet, and then that's basically going to be his army when he goes back to the main galaxy. Like, they're going to resurrect all those people, and that's basically going to be his army. That's just my theory. I have no idea if that's actually going to be the case, but yeah, I mean, they revealed that they're almost done with that. Therefore, they're almost ready to leave. We didn't really get to see, I guess, a whole lot more about what Balin is searching for on the planet.
A big old monster.
And he did he did curiously part ways with his apprentice Shin, which I did not think was going to happen. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, he sees like both of their paths kind of diverting and going in separate directions. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought it was good. And as for Ezra, like, I thought it was fine. Like, I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy that plays Ezra, I thought he did a fine job. I thought the portrayal, the way he was written in the episode, was fine. I think the main thing was that, at least from what I had seen, was that a lot of people were hoping that, he was going to take his lightsaber back and it was going to be like a huge, like, cool action piece, like seeing him using the lightsaber and whatnot.
I thought it was cool as fuck. He fucking stopped him without a lightsaber.
Exactly.
He used the Force the entire time.
Yeah. I'm the same with you. I thought the same way, because to me that just shows that like he's gotten
that's more badass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he's just gotten so strong with the Force that he just doesn't need a lightsaber anymore. It's kind of like the Emperor, right? And the original trilogy, like when he eventually just stopped using a lightsaber because he said, he didn't need it anymore. What did he say? It was like a primitive weapon or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought of when I saw that. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with that. And the other thing too is, like, I mean, he literally hasn't he got used to not having to use a lightsaber for what, 5 years that he's been stranded on the planet. So obviously, he's gotten used to living and presumably like fighting without it. So I mean that just makes sense to me. But anyways,
can I take a wild stab here?
oh
No.
boy,
Are you talking about? Okay, when you say Ezra, are you talking about the dude that is in the most recent Star Wars games?
No.
That Cal Cestus
No,
that plays the
you
character of him?
you just answered your own question. But no, that they're not the same.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're very similar characters, obviously. Because they're both. Well, Ezra wasn't a youngling at the time of Order 66, whereas Cal was, but they're both kind of like grew up, becoming Jedi during the Age of the Empire. So in that way, they're similar, but yeah, no, they're not the same character. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, really liking the season so far, and as I've also said before, they would have to monumentally mess up, screw up the finale for this not to be probably my favorite Star Wars show that has released so far. I think we've talked about the rumors about this before, but now more and more people are now claiming that a season 2 of this show has already been greenlit by Lucasfilm. And I guess too, Hayden Christensen has been campaigning in like recent interviews and stuff. He's been campaigning for them to make a live action Clone Wars show with him and I can't remember her name, whatever actress they got to play the younger Ahsoka in like the flashback scenes. So I guess he's trying to get that going as well, which I mean, I obviously I'd be all for that, but I just don't know if they will, considering they already have done a Clone Wars show, albeit in animated form, not live action. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Time will tell on that front. But let's see. Is there anything else that I have that I wanted to talk about regarding that? I don't think so. I guess the only other thing is, do you have any predictions for what you think or what you want to happen in the finale?
I honestly have no clue. I have no idea other than like the inevitable movie,
right? Yeah,
he's making. But
yeah.
like as far as this next episode and they got a lot of shit to do, like they always do. The last episode,
sure.
They never answer all the questions, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, and I hope I'm wrong, but like I don't think we're going to know, or I don't think we're going to find out, what's going on with Baylan and what he's looking for, just because like there's already so much other stuff that they have to cover in the finale. But I do think that it will probably end with Thrawn succeeding in, escaping back to, I don't know what you want to call it, like the normal galaxy that they came from. But I do think it'll probably end off with that, just because of, like you said, like we do know that everything is going to eventually culminate in a movie at some point, which I think, that's what they're setting up for, like the Thrawn War. But aside from that, though, I literally have no idea what may or may not happen. There has been some rumors, and I don't think this is going to happen, but I have seen a lot of people theorizing that Ezra is either going to die or be left behind on the planet, like when they escape.
Hilarious.
Which, like I said, that would be. I don't think that's gonna happen. That would be absolutely brain dead, because they literally, like, the whole point of the show was them just trying to find him, and also obviously stop Thrawn from returning. But for him to just still stay back there and or die after all of that searching for him would just be stupid. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. And I mean, because even if he did, like, say, get left behind, I mean, if they if everyone escapes back to the original galaxy, I mean that pretty much means we're never going to see him again, or at least not for a long time, because I doubt it's going to be like a split story where it's like flipping back and forth between, you know, the war that's going on and the original galaxy and what they're doing on Peridia and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like it'd just be too much, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, I guess we'll talk about the finale on the next podcast in a couple of weeks, but until then, we'll move on. And apparently, obviously, I'm not going to show it here for, you know, copyright reasons, but apparently the full trailer that was shown at Star Wars Celebration earlier this year for the Acolyte show has leaked online in its entirety. Before, only like the first half of the trailer was leaked online, so, you know, the people who did not attend Celebration did not get to see the entirety of the trailer, but now you can if you so choose to look that up on your own online, because like I said, we're not going to be showing it here. But yeah, I mean, I already knew what happened because, you know, I read like the trailer descriptions and whatnot in the trailer. But yeah, I mean, still looks really cool. As I said before, you know, when the first half of the trailer leaked during Celebration, I'm very much looking forward to the show. I think it has very high potential, but again, who knows? It was supposed to come out originally in the spring of next year, but, you know, because of the strikes and everything, who knows when it's actually going to release now. But we shall see. We shall see on that front. But moving on, we've kind of talked on and off at various points about whether Taika's Star Wars film is ever actually going to get made because he's been seemingly writing it for like 10 plus years now. It's obviously hasn't been that long. That was a joke, but it has been a long time. And, you know, he's kind of been joking at various points like, oh yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not doing that anymore. And it's hard to tell when he's joking and when he's being serious. So you can't really tell, you know, take anything he says like that at face value. But it seems more and more scoopers now are pretty much saying that it is very unlikely, some even saying it's definitely not happening, his Star Wars movie. There is still a little bit of hope. Like there's still, like, I think it was Jeff Snyder said that as of now the movie is still, you know, is still being planned. Like Taika's still writing it, he still wants it to happen, but honestly, the longer it goes on, I would say like the less and less likely of it actually being made. But, you know, we'll see what happens. But as of now, not looking too great on that front. But the very last thing we have to talk about is a little bit more positive. And as we talked about before, the rumors, Cameron Monaghan, who is the guy that does like the motion capture and the voice for Cal Kestis, a character that Ben just brought up a little bit ago in the Star Wars Jedi games, he has confirmed that the third Jedi game is currently being worked on, as was previously rumored that we covered a couple weeks back. So yeah, now that's officially official, I guess, being made and currently worked on. And alongside that, do you guys remember that really cool looking cinematic for a game called Star Wars Eclipse that released a couple years back, and then we just like haven't heard anything about it since?
Oh wait, no, I think I'm thinking of the bounty hunter one.
Oh yeah, no, that's not that one, but yeah, no, Star Wars Eclipse, they basically came out with a really cool cinematic for the game when they first announced it a couple years ago, and we literally haven't heard anything about it since, which has led to a lot of people wondering if the game is even still being made at this point. And Quantic Dream, the developers of said game, have recently come out and said that it is still being worked on. It's just taking them quite a bit longer than they had anticipated, which is why, you know, they haven't really had any further updates or anything like gameplay or anything to show since then. But they still didn't mention as to when we might expect the game or how much longer it will take them. But I'd imagine it's still probably a couple years away at least. But just because, you know, the scope of the game from what they've talked about it previously, it sounds like a game that takes you a while to make, but who knows what's gonna happen. But yeah, with that being said, that's all I got for Star Wars related stuff. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about or bring up before we move on?
Bring back Baby Grogu. That's all I gotta say.
You ever think he's gonna come back with the chainmail on?
Yes.
He has, yeah.
Oh my god.
That's all he
Should do it
wears
again,
now,
too.
dude. Yeah.
I just need to get
This is
caught
all
up.
gonna eventually culminate into him being the man, the Jedi, the Jedalorian.
Could
Some
you?
might say.
Oh, for sure. Could you imagine
You
if?
just blew my mind.
Could you imagine that, like, when they do like the crossover movie at some point, and like their war against Thrawn and everything, if it ends with like Baby Grogu just like killing Thrawn and like,
And then he
like
says,
a crazy.
I'm Thrawn now.
After,
Like, oh my god, he can talk.
uh,
He didn't say babu. That would totally ruin the fucking how much money they could make off of selling Grogu toys. If he all of a sudden just like started talking and not be cute.
I mean, I guess it depends
I'd
how
be
he
for it
talks.
because I'm all for character growth. I
Well, he
wanna
has to
see-
talk eventually because he's
That's
gonna
what I'm
get
saying.
older.
Like,
But
I want to see that, but like, they gonna take a little hit. I'm just saying. I'm
I guess
just saying.
I guess it depends like how they go about doing it. Like, you know, if he talks in like a very soft, like childish voice,
He's gonna be
I feel
voiced
like it
by
can work.
Denzel Washington.
Could you
Can
imagine
you
if
imagine if you sound like Kermit the
I
Frog?
was just gonna say his like first words, and he just like has an extremely like deep masculine voice, like right off the bat.
Samuel L. Jackson reprises, but comes back to the Star Wars universe to voice adult Grogu.
Oh,
Oh,
man, that'd be
hell
wild.
no! You want me to fight what, motherfucker?
That'd be too good, actually.
It's like shooting wild pranks in my pants. I don't know what he says. All I know is the womp rat part.
He would, yeah, he would probably say that if he continued to train under Luke for sure. That's all you would say, actually. But, anyways, I guess we can move on to some TV show and movie related things. But first of all, and it's funny, we actually just talked about this right before we went live, but the first 3 episodes of the Boys spinoff show Gen V have now released and are available to watch on the good old Prime Video. I know Ben hasn't seen it yet. Big surprise, he doesn't watch the vast majority of stuff that we talk about. But Evan, you've seen the first 3 episodes, right?
I've seen the first 2.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Seen the third one.
I wasn't gonna talk about spoilers anyway, because since Ben hasn't seen it yet. But
Yeah, for sure. But
Damn.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
no,
we're
I've-
good.
oh, I was just gonna say I've seen 2 of the 3, and I liked it. I mean, I'm pretty much to say what I said before is it's not The Boys, like as far as you know how good I think the show is, but that
Same.
doesn't mean it's a bad show. It's just
For
The
sure.
Boys is just fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's just
And there's like
different
characters
level.
in that like make The Boys instead of just like building up a whole new show with new characters. Like you're gonna have to build up that chemistry and repertoire before we can even like begin to give a shit about them.
Yeah,
Which they're doing. Like I'm starting to care about some of these characters.
for sure.
But yeah, no, it's definitely been. It feels like it takes place in the Boys universe. That's for certain.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. Because there is some, just like in The Boys, there is some absolutely wild stuff that happens in the show. But Yeah, I like you said, like the boys, I mean, it's just on a completely different level in terms of like, the acting and the quality of like the writing and stuff. But um nonetheless though, still a very good show so far. I will say, I liked the first episode. Thought it got off to a very good start. I actually thought the second episode was a little bit of a not a dud, but it wasn't like up to the level of the first episode, I thought. But thankfully, the third episode definitely brings it back around, in my opinion. Like, it definitely leaves it off on a very good spot. That makes you very interested in what comes next and, how they get out of a certain situation. But I was actually very surprised before the show came out. I was under the assumption that it was a prequel to the events of The Boys, or at the very least, it took place, I don't know, like very early on in The Boys, like maybe around like seasons 1 or 2 of The Boys. But
Nope.
yeah, it basically,
Like right after.
yeah, like season 4, I
3.
think, or season 3, yeah. And I guess I looked into it a little bit too. They said that a lot of what's going to happen in this show, Gen V, is going to directly impact what we see in the upcoming season 4 of The Boys as well, which is again not something that I expected. I thought it was gonna kind of like just be like a true spin-off where like it kind of exists in its own space and doesn't really have a whole lot to deal with, the main series of The Boys. But yeah, no, I guess it's a lot of what happens in the show is going to have direct consequences and directly impact what we will end up seeing in the next season of The Boys. So I thought that was interesting. But as to what those things will be, I guess we'll have to see because I have no idea the direction that the show is going to take. I mean, you kind of have like an idea based off how the third episode ends, but I feel like there's a lot of different ways that they could go with it too. So we shall see. But yeah, so far I really like the first 3 episodes. So I would say that if you're a fan of The Boys, you should definitely check it out.
Nah. I'm good, actually.
Sheesh. But yeah, with that being said, we also have, and I also talked with both of you guys, I think, about this earlier in the week, but they have officially revealed that a reboot of The Office has been given the green light, and that the co-creator slash showrunner of the original show, Greg Daniels, is, I guess, returning in the same role. Yeah, what do you guys think?
There's just so many shows that could be made that done. This show's been made, and it was amazing. And don't ruin it.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say. Same thing I'm gonna say about the Harry Potter.
true.
Although there's much more that can be told because the source material, let alone, because with The Office was, they wrote the show not from scratch, but there was only 1 season of the original Office, and then after that they wrote it from scratch. But as far as like how much more you can do with that, I don't know. I'm just confused why we're doing it again.
Why couldn't they just done like spin-off shows? Like we
They
followed
tried,
the line.
actually.
They did?
Yeah. They tried to follow Dwight and
Bro.
it got canceled.
Why wouldn't they do Jim and Pam? That seems like a easy like
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
kind of get it though, because I feel like any spinoff isn't going to be seen in the same light if it's not like that whole ensemble cast, right? Like from The Office. Just like the different ways that like certain characters like play off each other, and just
Imagine
the
if they
entirely
did,
different
like,
personalities and whatnot. I feel like is why a lot of people like The Office, and if you just limit that to like 1 or 2 characters, I feel like it's not going to be as good. But that's just what I think. they were thinking on the subject of spinoffs, but
have they done something along the lines of a cast reunion, but like they get together and do shit?
yeah, like a special anniversary episode or something like that.
Yeah, has that been done before?
Not for The Office, no. I don't.
I mean, I feel like that would be a better.
They just want
I
money.
mean,
for sure.
yes, it's a money grab, but like I feel like everyone would be on board with that rather than trying to reboot it.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Hope that it,
Yeah. I think in their eyes they're like, oh, if we just get the same guy that was the showrunner before to come back, like people will be okay with it and they'll be on board. But the thing, it wasn't just him. Whatever the guy's name was that I just said. Greg Daniels. It wasn't just him that made the show so successful, obviously. Like, it was the cast, it was like the whole like writers room that they had. It was, all the directors that they got for various episodes. It was everything combined.
I mean, half the cast are writers.
Yeah, exactly. So
DJ Novak.
to try and replicate that,
Mindy Kaling.
it's gonna be tough, man. No, I'm not saying
Brian
they can't.
Baumgartner.
Yeah. Toby.
Yeah, Toby was a writer
Yeah.
that wasn't supposed to even like be there
Be in
past the
that,
first
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
I'm so happy they kept him because I love that
I know.
the battle between Michael and HR is just
such a
ever
good
going
ongoing
until
joke.
he meets
Yeah.
Ollie.
Imagine like HR, like if they did the special presentation, HR has to call every character and be like, "Oh yeah, it's required for us to all get together and catch up after so many years," and Michael's the last one on that list to be called.
Like, I get like they want to do it because it was super successful before. They want to see if they can do it again.
Right.
But we don't need this again. Like, there's so many things that can be made that like I just don't. What more is there to tell?
Yeah. For sure.
About the office environment. Why don't you do what other shows have done? Like the was it Superstore? I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, same. It's not as good, obviously, but that's just because it's a different writing team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know what the fuck they're doing.
because, like I said, either way, even if they try to do this reboot or whatever they're doing, it's still not going to be as good as the original Office. Now, that's not to say it's going to be bad. Like, it can still be a decent show, but it's there's just no way it's going to be as good as, the show that they're trying to reboot. But which goes with what you were saying, that I feel like it'd just be way better that if they just decided to come up with like a brand new show with like the same kind of like vibe, maybe. But I don't know. It's it'll be interesting to see how they go about it, but I guess we'll see. We'll see what they do with it. But with that being said, this was kind of interesting. I guess A24 is the studio is apparently the early front runners in a bidding war to obtain the rights to develop Halloween TV shows. And no, I'm not talking about the Halloween holiday. I'm talking about the franchise, Michael Myers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Has A24 done any TV shows?
Exactly. That's the point I was getting to.
I mean, they make dope fucking movies.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
they've ever done anything episodic?
No, they haven't. Like, they don't have their own like streaming service or anything like that. So if they were to acquire the rights to develop Halloween TV shows, I don't know. Like, I don't know where they would release that. I guess they'd have to make a deal with some other streaming
Paramount
platform
or ABC and DC.
to release them or something. Or who knows, maybe they'll just follow suit of literally everyone else in the industry and make their own streaming service and put that on there. But yeah, I thought that was
Network.
I thought that was very interesting. That they were going after, specifically the TV show side of things. If it was like, you know, they're trying to get the rights to like the movie side, I mean, obviously that would make more sense, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens. But as Evan pointed out, I mean, A24 generally just puts out nothing but hits. So, I mean, I'm sure whatever they do is going to work out either way. But, yeah, I guess we'll have to see how that goes. But one other quick thing on the TV show side of things. I know we've talked about this a couple times on the podcast. They had like the first official trailer release that we talked a little bit about on the last podcast. But now the review embargo for Mike Flanagan's The Fall of the House of Usher has lifted. So we're starting to get a bunch of reviews of the show, and apparently all
gas, no brakes.
Yeah, they're basically all gassing it up as like one of, if not the best things that Flanagan has done so far, which is saying something if true, because he's done a lot of successful things. So yeah, I mean, again, just makes me even more hyped for the show to see exactly what it is and how he pulls off, you know, this adaptation of the Edgar Allan Poe source material. But yeah, we'll see. But I guess so far a lot of people are, at least from the early reviews, have been liking the show a lot. So we shall see how it goes. But yeah, that comes out in about 2 weeks on Netflix, for anyone that is wondering. And with that being said, we will move on to a few quick movie related things. The first of which, have either of you seen that prequel to the Predator franchise on Hulu called Prey?
No, but I've seen scenes from it, and it looks dope.
Very good. Yes. Very, very good movie. And apparently they officially announced that a sequel to said film is in the works for Hulu. So
Cool
there you
beans.
go. There you go. Make sure to see the first one before that comes out, I guess. But we got that. And then
Is that the prequel where it's like she's an Indian versus the Predator?
Whoa, Native American.
Okay.
Come on, Ben.
All right.
Indians are in
Alright.
India, Ben.
But like, I mean, she's like a Pocahontas type character.
Yeah, a Native American.
Oh, okay. All right, Native American.
Oh my goodness.
She's a part of the
But yes.
Iroquois.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yes,
we don't
but
know.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one you're thinking of.
All right. Now that we got that settled.
No, I'm bringing it back.
Have either you guys seen the trailer for this movie called Argyle? Just
Is
came out
that
a
the one
couple
where
days
Henry
ago.
Cavill has a
Yes.
sick haircut?
Yeah.
No.
It looks
Henry Cavill,
very
I'm
good.
all for it.
looks very good, by the way. It's
He's
Matt.
got an anime type vibe character.
Okay. I don't know about that, but yeah, he definitely has a different look for sure. But yeah, it's Matthew Vaughn's next film that he's doing, and
Hey, Kingsman.
exactly. You got Kingsman. He did X-Men First
No, just
Class.
Kingsman.
He did. He helped write Days of Future Past as well. Arguably two of the best X-Men films that have released. And he did something else too. What am I missing? Kingsman, X-Men.
I don't know, man.
And he's done some good stuff. Okay, basically everything I've seen of his has been a hit. But yeah, this is his next film, and it's basically like a well, if you've seen his other films, it's basically specifically Kingsman. When you watch the trailer, it has pretty much that exact same vibe going on. You know, it's like
What's that haircut?
yeah, that's what I'm saying too. But yeah, it's like It's like a goofy like spy thriller type film. Some of the action scenes though look very good as well, which, as I said, can be expected from a Matthew Vaughn film. But yeah, I mean, huge ensemble cast. You know, you got Bryce Dallas Howard, you got Sam Rockwell as the two
all you had
main
to say.
characters. Henry Cavill's obviously in it, as you guys pointed out. John Cena, and a lot of other people like Dua Lipa. Sam Jackson is in it.
Oh shit.
I mean, I can just go on and on, but yeah, it's a lot of people are hyped for it, seemingly, that is. And it will officially release in theaters on February 2nd of next year. So,
Wait, is Sam Rockwell in his nobody stage of his career?
yeah, I think so. He might
Let's
be.
go.
It's looking like it.
Say Samuel L. Jackson? What the hell?
Yeah.
Walter White?
Sheesh. But yeah, before we move on, I also want to point out, and obviously, you know, for anyone wondering, obviously I can't show the trailer here on the stream because I don't want it to you know, get hit with a copyright strike. But keep in mind the name of Matthew Vaughn because and everything I just mentioned about what he's done in his career, because later on in this podcast coming up, we have another thing that he is a part of that we'll be talking about. But anyways, yeah, long story short, were you watching the trailer right now, Evan? Is that what
Yeah.
you're doing? What did you think?
I don't know what the fuck it's about, but it's cool.
Exactly, yep. It's pretty much what you can leave it at right there. But moving on, have either of you seen The Creator? Sci-fi
No.
film that just came out
no,
recently.
no.
I've just seen the trailers.
Yeah.
That I do want to watch.
You definitely should. It's pretty good. I guess just like a quick overview, non-spoiler type thing. The visuals, phenomenal. Cinematography, phenomenal. The like the sound design, sound engineering, probably the best of any film of this year so far. Everything else, okay. It's not the
Notice you didn't say the story was
Story?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's definitely has some highlights for sure, but like by the end of it, I'm trying to think of how to say this without being too spoilery, but
Yeah.
by the end, it's definitely a tad predictable. I'll say by the end, it's not like it's not a movie that like you walk away from like, oh, dude, that was like one of the most I don't know, like unique genre bending sci-fi films I've ever seen type thing. But I mean, it's definitely up there for one of like the most technically sound films made this year. And for that alone, I would definitely say it's worth watching. But yeah, that's that's pretty much all I can say about it without, you know, diving
So
into
did
too
you
many
think
spoilers.
the visuals
But
were
excellent.
as good as something like Avatar
No.
in that realm?
Well, Avatar, I mean, that's just in a class of its own because I mean, they literally take like 10 years to work on just the VFX and the CGI. But
Okay, so because it's like a robotic type movie, right?
yeah,
It looked like a cross between District 9 and Elysium or Chappie.
what do you mean? Like in terms of the visuals?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. But it definitely has its own unique style as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for, you know, a very solid, just action-packed sci-fi film, I mean, yeah, I would definitely give it a watch. It's pretty good. Pretty good
Yeah.
film, I
I
would
got
say.
some credits I gotta use from
But-
the movie theater.
But is it the best movie you're gonna see this year? No.
Shoot.
But it's definitely up there, though. Definitely up
I don't
there.
know, man. I might go see it. You got me curious.
Sheesh. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. And the very last thing that I have to go over in terms of the TV show movie related things is not really anything like crazy newsworthy or rumored wise, anything like that. But it is it is a discussion point that a lot of people are talking about. Therefore, I wanted to bring it up and see what you guys thought. So Martin Scorsese, obviously, a very well-known director, but he has recently tripled down on this by this point of his disdain for superhero films. And he basically said this time, long story short, that they're a danger, quote unquote, to the culture of movie making, that people are basically being brainwashed into thinking that that's all that movies are, or that's like the only type of good movies that people want to watch are superhero films these days. And I mean, if you're interested, you can see more of the quote here. I'll scroll down for anyone that wants to pause and look at it. But the real kicker, the real funny thing about this is the part here where he says filmmakers that you should support instead include none other Christopher Nolan, who, by the way, has made not one, not two, but 3 films in the superhero genre. So
cares?
That's kind of wild.
Scorsese has to say about
True. Oh yeah, I don't care. I don't care at all. I just thought it was funny. And a lot of people.
Don't get me wrong. He's made some really good movies.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But he could not make a superhero movie.
No.
Maybe he's jealous.
He'd make, I don't know, some old guy DH him, make him a superhero, and then this is his life. He doesn't save a person a whole movie. Thanks, Marty.
Yeah. I do, and he doesn't say this, so I can't even say that I agree with him on this point, but I do agree that unique, creative, whether it's like an indie film or otherwise, those types of movies should definitely be given more of a shot than they have been getting lately. Mainly by studios like wanting to make them in the first place, and also the type of like advertising that some of these other like blockbuster films, action films are getting these days. I do agree with that because I feel like there's been a lot of movie ideas that get shot down or like sold off to like a studio like A24 rather than a bigger studio like like Disney or anything like that, because they would rather do like a superhero film or like a big blockbuster event movie like a Fast and Furious movie or something like that.
I'm sure they said the same exact shit when westerns were the fucking hot tits.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, I get it, but like, you saying this is doing nothing.
Exactly.
Except making you look old.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I just thought it was funny that he like
for sure
goes on this whole rant.
Why even talk about it? Like,
well, I don't know.
Unless like, was he like asked?
Oh yeah, he's for sure he's for sure getting asked about it. But I mean, he could obviously just be like
asking about it, dude. Who gives a shit?
He could obviously just be like, I've already said what I've said about it. Like, it is what it is.
I mean, he for sure like wants to get his point. Like, I do not like these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So good for you. Everybody has a personal taste. Not everything needs to be a 2.5 hour fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't get me wrong. Some of those movies are really good.
Yeah.
But there's this thing called variety in life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich every day.
No, I want to eat the same sandwich every single day, dude. Because that's how society dictates it.
Yep.
But anyways, yep.
Fuck you, Marty. Is what I'm saying.
You'll never be anything left in your life. All your future movies are gonna. But yeah. he is definitely adamantly against superhero films, as we can all see. But anyways, with that being said, that is going to wrap up everything that I had to go over for
Is
the
he
TV
also
show.
against fucking theme parks?
Probably.
Because, like, that's what it is. It's a fucking roller coaster, dude.
Well, isn't
Nobody's going. I didn't go to Iron Man 3 expecting to get a fucking Shakespearean opera. I went because I wanted to see Tony Stark blow motherfuckers up with his repulsor beams.
exactly. Didn't he compare them to like amusement theme parks at some point as well? Like those types of movies, which I don't
And
even
it
see
just
how
proves
like
my point. Like,
yeah.
those are things we have that are a necessity that people like to do.
Yeah,
Imagine we didn't have theme parks, dude. We just had opera houses.
yeah, I
How
don't
lame we'd be. We'd still be talking in Victorian English.
true. Actually true. Yeah,
Have
but
no black people anywhere.
sheesh.
We'd all be like, nah, y'all are fucking lame.
I mean, like at the same time too, though, like there has been films that are that kind of exist outside of the norm too, though. I mean, you look at movies like Logan or like Joker and like other movies of that genre, like you know, they're definitely, I guess, testing the limits of what superhero films had been considered to be up until that point, right? And I think that'll continue to happen as well. I mean, obviously they don't happen very often, but I mean, there's definitely unique instances as well, like within the superhero genre. But I don't know, just a weird thing, just a weird thing to say overall. But it is what it is. And with that being said, we will move on to some superhero related things. Perfect segue. And starting with Marvel, Ben, do you want to go over some stuff?
Your thing, friend. So we
Not your friend,
have. Okay. So we have Marvel announced that Loki season 2 will premiere this Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for us. The runtime for the first 4 episodes has also been leaked, with each episode being at least 45 minutes long.
Let's go. I've been dreaming of times like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that.
I wondered if they would do this because obviously with Ahsoka they started with like the night premieres, right? Like the 9 o'clock premieres on like Tuesday or whatever. So I was wondering if they would
I'm
do
so
the same thing
surprised
with
they
Loki,
never
but
did that before.
yeah, that's I don't know.
Because like
Right.
that's what HBO's been doing
Yeah.
that for a hot minute.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
it makes
it
it
works
like-
for them. Yeah.
Well, it makes it they take advantage of it being episodic and making an event every week that that gets talked about, and then you get a week to talk about it, and then it pops back up in a week, and you talk about it again, instead of it just being like, all right, here it is. See you in a week.
Exactly. Yeah. Plus, it allows
Yeah,
more
3 a.m.
people.
Eastern. What?
Exactly. Exactly. I was gonna say like, plus it allows more people to like actually watch it at the same time, right?
Yeah, like Twitter's popping, like social media is
Right.
It's all feeding the machine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't do it for some of the shows. They didn't want everybody
A little
talking
bit
about
rough,
it and say,
yeah.
"Well, this thing is just fucking roasting it, dude."
Yeah.
They did anyways, but just not all at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
Just the same day.
Yeah, definitely a good change, I think. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
only a couple more days.
I was wondering. I was like, "How are they gonna top season 1? How?" Like, and then I saw the trailer with the one and only Ki Hui Kwan. And I was like, all right, dude. All right. I'm in. I'm buckled in, dude.
Yeah.
You got me. I
can
love the
wait
show
for
already,
it.
and then you just throw this motherfucker in there. And I already love his character. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Like even visually, it just looks better
Yeah.
than like any
Yeah,
other
It's like they
of their
spent all their
shows.
time and money on it, which they should.
Oh yeah. But I just don't know like how the quality, both in terms of
They
like the
put the A-team
writing,
on
the
it, dude.
music, you know, the visuals, like
The A-team on it, and then they put the B-team on Echo.
everything else. Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably the C-team.
Yeah.
I can't say that. I haven't seen the show. I can't say it. I'm being part of the problem.
You a leaker?
Yeah. Well.
I'm a leaker, dude. I'm actually my time to shine. Hello.
Sheesh.
Okay, I'm
Why do you think we?
toast.
Why do you think we cover? Why do you think we cover most of the things that they say on here, dude? Because we're secretly them. But no, yeah. Long story short, I think we're all very much looking forward
It's
to
gonna
it.
be good.
Yep.
So,
Nice. Segue.
WandaVision showrunner Jack Schaefer and other writers have now removed the Vision Quest show from their WGA profile pages, suggesting that the show might have been canceled or indefinitely delayed. Then we got your boy, Can We Get Some Toast? He claims that the show actually merged with and eventually turned into the rumored Children's Crusader project.
Children's Crusade.
Children's
Not Crusader.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Children's Crusade. Sorry, dyslexia is hell of a thing.
You're
It's
good.
okay, dude.
You're good. Just be better next time. All right.
Yeah.
I'll get good.
Nah, I'm trolling you. Yeah. I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, would it have been cool to get a Vision Quest spin-off? I mean, I guess, but I mean, if they're merging it with the Children's Crusade and that's just what it's become, I mean, again, I don't really know what the Children's Crusade thing is going to be, but
Yeah. That's like saying, "Hey, I might have a beer for you. Let me go check that beer being on Vision Quest." We're like, "Oh, I'd like a beer. Yeah, I'll take a beer." And then he comes back, "Oh, we didn't have beer.
Sorry, fresh out.
Sorry. I had this bottle of pineapple juice, just the juice if you want that." And it's like, what is this? I don't know what this is. That's how I feel right now. I don't know what. Okay.
Yeah.
we didn't even know Vision Quest was actually like a thing. Like it was a thing, but like not like something that was set in stone. We had a date like with
it wasn't like officially
plans.
announced.
Yeah.
They just had it as one of their credits on their WGA profile, but
exactly, yeah. So I feel like them taking it off probably has something to do with maybe whatever the Children's Crusade thing is, or they're just like, we got to cut back on what the fuck we're making.
For sure.
Because quality over quantity is what we want now that we're back. Hopefully that we're back.
They're back.
We'll fucking see, dude. Because DC,
sheesh.
I got a strange feeling 5 years from now it's going to be a very different landscape as far as like superhero movies go.
Oh, for sure.
I think the DC movies are going to be more movies that focus on superheroes rather than them being superhero movies.
Yeah.
Just because of James Gunn.
Yeah.
And all that I've heard so far. Like, just think that the Green Lantern one. Who would have thought that we would have got a True Detective type series following multiple Green Lanterns? I wouldn't have thought that, but that's a fucking dope idea. Yeah. So like, I'm excited for that. Marvel would not have done that.
Or like the Game of Thrones-esque Paradise Lost spin-off show with like Diana's Wonder Woman's origins or whatever. Like that sounds cool.
And it's
as
like
well.
It's doing the job of building the world of a superhero universe or multiverse, however they want to call it, but by making actual fucking movies. They're good movies before they're superhero movies. I'm saying this before these come out, so I don't.
For sure.
But based on what they've said, I'm all for it so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. all I'm gonna say is, do you think it's a coincidence that, based off how the DCU slate currently is, at least from what we know, that it's supposedly going to start like really getting into it right around the time that Secret Wars comes out for Marvel?
I think they want to steal their thunder.
Exactly. Like
You know what? Let's
one
have a
secret,
clash of the studios.
like one
I'm for it.
Secret Wars is out and done with. I mean, we don't know where Marvel is heading after that. I mean, like,
Oh yeah.
it's right there for DC to grasp, you know, like the spotlight of
Especially
the
since
superhero genre.
Yeah, especially since DC, they never had problems telling a good story or a cohesive story. They just never did it with their live action movies. They
True.
always did it with the animated ones. So now that they got somebody that actually, I feel like actually gives a shit about the live action movies and where they come from comic book wise, that makes me excited because they've done some of their best movies are the animated ones,
True.
like hands down. Like Flashpoint, that was fucking awesome. You put that next to the Flash movie,
even any of their like animated Justice League films, I feel like are better than any. Well, definitely the Joss Whedon live action Justice League,
sure.
but yeah, like some of those are really good.
Oh yeah, because they have weight, consequence. You give a shit about the characters. Like, I didn't care that much about Cyborg, but I like the actor. But
Right,
it's like,
sure, yeah.
it make me care about him. Because, like, I did in Teen Titans.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you barely saw him in the movie, right?
Exactly.
Like, he wasn't in anything else before then, and then they just kind of threw him in there, and they were like, "Hey, he's a part of the team now."
Hey, this guy blew up, became a robot. He's part of the team now. When did this happen? Yesterday. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is gonna be interesting to see how they do it, because as far as we know, right, like at least a lot of superheroes have already been established, right, by the time of the first DCU movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate all those characters. Like,
I think James Gunn's
are they
really
gonna?
good at that.
Oh, for sure. I'm just saying, like, we'll have to see like which of them still get, you know, their own like solo projects or whatever, like before we get like, you know, a huge crossover like a Justice League or something like that. But I don't know. That's for them to figure out, and for me to sit back and watch,
judge and critique. Yep.
See what they do.
Enjoy the shit show or glamorous show. I don't know.
Sheesh.
Anyways,
what else you got?
You know, our boy here, Scooper, can we get some toast? Has told me recently that not personally, but just through Discord here, through someone else, but share that what they claim are real titles for the upcoming second season of What If.
Yeah, so basically last podcast we talked about the rumored title list for season 2 of What If, but now can we get some toast claims that they have the real list?
Yep, sure.
Quote unquote real list. Now I will say they're definitely a better source than the previous one came from, but still, I mean, you never know for sure until it's officially official.
Do you remember who had the leak list before him?
No, it was like some random person that I'd like never heard of before.
Okay.
we never talked about any of their scoops before, but
it's the leak, I swear.
Pretty much, yeah. But a lot of people were talking about it, so that's why I brought it up. This one, like I said, a little bit not entirely credible, but a little bit more credible, I guess, if that even exists in this sphere of things anymore. But yeah, this is the episode list that they posted and said was the true episode list. I guess I'll just call them out real quick for those of that you guys aren't watching. But you got and just picture what if at the start of all these, by the way. But
Yeah, I see.
what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps? That could be interesting. Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes. That's that's a tall task, I guess, in itself. Kahori reshaped the world. I actually don't know who that is, but Hela found the 10 rings. I think that was one that was in the previous list that we talked about.
Yo,
yeah, that would be insane.
That would be insane.
That's like Ultron finding the Infinity Stones in the last one, but or in season 1. Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster. Happy Hogan saved Christmas. That was also in the other one we talked about. I guess they really loved that idea. Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper. I think that was also in the other list.
Yeah, it's a continuation.
The Avengers assembled in 1602. Sheesh.
There'd be no black ones.
That is true. It is true.
There might have been. It depends on where. 1602. Like, it could have been.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on where. And then the last one. What if Strange Supreme intervened? Intervened in what? I have no clue. What if he intervened? But yeah, that is the 10 episodes that they say is reportedly the true list.
What's 207, dude?
Wait, what?
There's no 207.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, you're right. Hello? Hold on, let me go to their tweet. Did they miss one? No, they just skipped one. I guess. I don't know.
What if we lied about the list? Is what number 7 is?
What if none of this is real?
Yep.
All a simulation.
We're done making superhero movies.
But yeah, again, same thing like I said last time. If this is true, yeah, I feel like most of these sound very interesting, pretty cool. And hopefully it comes out sooner than later, because it seems it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. So who knows when it's actually going to release. I mean, the latest rumors say either the end of this year or early next year, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Okay, so now we have Deadline has reported that Marvel has started to set up writers' meetings for later this fall to discuss and listen to different pitches for their upcoming X-Men reboot.
Sorry, I was fixing something in the settings.
Oh, you're all right.
Which one did you just talk about? Oh, they're meeting
X-Men
about the
reboot.
X-Men pitches, yeah.
All right, so Dan Radcliffe's playing all the characters, all right?
Imagine. Yeah.
Except the one that everybody wants, Wolverine. He's played by God damn it! I was gonna say Michael Cera, but I couldn't get it out.
Michael Cera. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's good that they're finally talking about making the X-Men reboot finally, after they announced it like 10 years ago.
We finally started talking about it. Like, oh my god, don't even tell us. He hasn't even ordered the pizzas yet.
They announced it like they did Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 3.
See, in
guys,
27 and a half years.
Happened.
Yeah, that's true. But
Won't
yeah,
be
I
back
think the
again.
next... I think
dude.
I think the next topic
might be some
talk a little
foreshadowing.
more about it, but yeah.
On this episode of Anime, where we foreshadow the future.
You want to go over the next one quick, Ben?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So then we have, can we get some toast claims that the current idea for the X-Men reboot does not feature Wolverine on the team. adding that they are sticking with Hugh Jackman for the role until after Secret Wars, and that the new Wolverine won't show up for a while.
Yeah, so
I mean, if you can
basically,
get Hugh Jackman to keep it up, I'm all for it.
I mean, that'd be great. But I don't know I don't know how much longer he's gonna want to do it for, but yeah, essentially, long story short, what they're saying is that Hugh Jackman is gonna continue to be Wolverine, probably in like Deadpool 3, Secret Wars. I don't think he'd be in anything else, but basically all the way up until Secret Wars, and they do, the soft reboot of the MCU. He's gonna be Wolverine, and then sometime after, when they come up with the new reboot version of the X-Men or whatever, sometime like way down the line, they'll eventually have someone else as Wolverine. But I actually seen like quite a few people were confused about this. But in the comics, the original, like the first ever X-Men team did not have Wolverine. so if they're going, the comic accurate route, then that makes sense. But I guess we'll see.
Okay, so what I'm looking at on my screen here,
He said, okay.
dude, what I am looking at my screen right now, I did not think was a leak. But apparently, Can We Get Some Toast reiterated that Taylor Swift will be playing Dazzler in the Deadpool 3 after she was recently seen hanging out with the main cast of the film at the recent Kansas City Chiefs game in New York.
That is correct.
Yeah. That is absolutely bonkers.
I mean, it could be coincidence, but that is a crazy coincidence that she's been rumored to be in that film for a couple months now, and then she just all of a sudden shows up hanging out with the cast and the director of the film at the game.
If they added some musical events to that, as Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are
yeah, that is true.
Seem like that kind of people.
Well, Hugh Jackman,
actors that would.
Hugh Jackman has been in a musical
Broadway.
before,
I know that.
Yeah.
Musicals and shit. But that's all I have here.
That's all you got? All right.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Right, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Continue, Evan.
No, I was serious.
Execute order.
Gotta go.
66.
Okay. Let's do this one more time. My name's Peter Parker. Deadline has reported, according to their sources, Deadpool 3 is very unlikely to make its May 2024 release date due to the ongoing strikes. Hooray! What about now?
What about now?
We got next.
What about now? If you know what I'm saying.
It's not striking.
The actors still are.
Who cares about them?
Who cares
What do
about
they even
them?
do?
They just they should just finish it with AI.
We'll just put some fucking dogs out there.
My dog's at
The Airbuds Avengers.
But yeah, that is while unfortunate, not surprising.
No, but I still don't like it.
All we can do is hope that they don't delay it by too much.
They're gonna. Anyways, My Time to Shine Hello claims that Avengers Kang Dynasty will end with the main Avengers team losing to the Council of Kangs. Secret Wars will then involve the TVA sending a new team of multiversal Avengers that includes Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool to deal with the situation. I'll fucking believe it when I see it.
So
it looks good on paper.
I was gonna say, while the concept of this is cool, very much sounds like something they would do and something that people would like to see. But at the same time, I'm slightly confused about this because My Time to Shine, literally on the last podcast we talked about, they had reported that the writers, like the main writer for both Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, was basically fired from their job. So how they know what is going to happen when last time they said that the writers for said movies were fired, and presumably because they want a different story, is beyond me. But, maybe they just have like the groundwork already laid out for those movies as to how they're going to go. They just want to have, new writers come in to just kind of like touch some things up here and there and make some changes to, I guess, like the finer details of things. But I don't know. I do not know.
I don't think they know. But
I'm sure they do to some
also
extent.
claim
Yeah.
they also claim that Michael Mando will be returning at some point as Mac Gargan, and will very likely become the villain Scorpion. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's all I got for MCU stuff.
Nice.
But moving on to some DC. Is it DCU?
Yeah.
Is that what the official term is now? DCU? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if they changed it or something. James Gunn recently reconfirmed that at least 3 DCEU actors. See, you motherfucker.
No, DC. DCEU
oh, okay.
is what it was called before.
You just fucking. Okay, I get it. James Gunn recently confirmed that at least 3 DCEU actors will be returning as their characters in the new DCU. John Cena as Peacemaker, predictable. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, predictable. And God. Zolo Maranduena as Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. I don't know how to say his name, but I can say Jaime. My Time to Shine Hello reiterates that Gal Gadot will also be returning as Wonder Woman, along with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I personally would be okay with a new Wonder Woman, but that's just me.
I
don't think she's that good of an actor.
Actress.
I mean, she can act, but like, I think she's that great.
Yeah.
I think she's more in it because she's an incredibly beautiful person that can act a little bit instead of an incredibly good actor that looks decent.
Yeah, I think for me, it's only because, he's played Wonder Woman for what, like 8 years now, that I can't picture anyone else in the role. But I also thought the same thing about Henry Cavill, and obviously he got recast, and I'm actually, very much okay with the guy, the actor that they chose to replace him.
Yeah, so Mark Hamill lookalike.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'd do the same thing with Gal Gadot if they came down to it. Like they would recast, and I would look into them, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I feel like this person could actually do a very good job as Wonder Woman. But I don't know, I'm okay. I mean, if you think about it though, yes, in recent appearances, Wonder Woman really hasn't been in that great of films recently. But I mean, Wonder Woman 1 was very good. The first one, a couple of years back. So, I mean, I feel like she could definitely be in something successful for the new DCU. But, I guess we'll see. See what they decide to do.
True that. Moving on to who the fuck is World of Real? Have we ever mentioned
No.
Whoever that is? Okay.
At least not that I can think of.
I was about to say, I don't know who this is. World of Real, spelled R-E-E-L, has backed up previously discussed rumors that Matthew Vaughn is likely going to direct The Authority for the DCU after he apparently dropped out of the running for the next James Bond film for that movie instead. Cool. I'd be all for it. I feel like The Authority would be a decent movie for Matt to direct.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's like probably one of the best things that he could direct from the TCU,
Yeah,
considering
like a
his style of filmmaking.
nice ensemble, kind of
Um,
goofy-ish movie.
so it is wild that if true that he decided to drop out of directing, potentially directing a James Bond movie for this instead. But I mean, maybe he just maybe he would rather do this for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he could think of a better story for this movie as compared to like something like James Bond. I don't know. I don't know what his reasoning is, but it is crazy nonetheless because I feel like James Bond is obviously as a character is way more well known than
I feel
the
like James
Authority.
Bond, they still don't know what the fuck they're gonna do though.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And like, I'm sure it's gonna take so much more time, and that's just gonna fuck his schedule.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
if he wants to
maybe-
just keep making movies.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he didn't think like he had a realistic shot or something, and he's just like, you know
maybe
what?
he thought it would like take way too long to get to like
That too,
the stage
yeah.
where they're actually starting to write and stuff, because they still don't fucking know what they want to do with it.
True.
Um,
It is true.
but I mean, that's all assuming would have insider knowledge that they don't know what they're doing. But I just have a feeling they don't know. They haven't made a decision yet on what they want to do with James Bond going forward.
Yeah.
Other than we have to find a new one.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure they said as much recently now. Like, didn't they say
I
like,
don't know.
yeah,
I
we're
might keep it up
still.
on that shit.
I mean, granted, this was probably like 6 months ago, but yeah, I thought
I'm
they.
just based on. I haven't heard anything about it.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
Since James Bond, the movie came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But I'm sure we'll find out at some point, unless they just decide to never do another James Bond movie again. Could you imagine?
Yep, we're actually done making money. We're done.
We're
We don't want to make
shutting
money
it
anymore.
down. Yep. Shutting it all down.
But one last thing here, and I almost don't even want to mention it.
Sheesh.
The first full trailer for Aquaman 2 released online a few weeks ago. And that's all we have to say. Have a good night, everyone.
Uh-oh. Not good.
Well,
And it's bad.
I was gonna
Goodbye.
say you guys saw the trailer, right?
Yeah,
There you go. That's all.
I saw it.
That's all that needs to be said. Yep. It's pretty rough.
It's a thing.
Pretty rough out here, but anyways, yeah, that is going to wrap things up. I mean, there's not really any like video game related stuff. I mean, there's been a couple small things here and there, like they released some additional footage and information about Spider-Man 2, which comes out in like 3 weeks from now, something actually less than 3 weeks from now. So that was cool to see some additional gameplay and hear some, additional information about that game. But aside from that, I don't really know if I mean, obviously there's been a couple video games that have released over the last couple weeks. You got like Mortal Kombat, Starfield, Lies of P, Payday.
Which, by the way, from Mortal Kombat, did y'all see the memes about what it will look like on the Nintendo Switch? Versus,
that is what it looks like. That is what it looks like on the Switch. But
Oh
yeah.
my god, dude!
Well, yeah. Oh, I have seen that.
Not surprised, because it's the
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah,
True.
that shit needs
If you thought it was
upgrading.
gonna look good on the Switch, should have bought a Steam Deck.
Sheesh.
I'm just kidding. You were the reason to buy your Switch is to play Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's actually true. You're not wrong there. But yeah, as to video games coming out this month, obviously, we already mentioned Spider-Man 2. I think that's it. I'm trolling. I know there's other ones, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Lies of P is pretty fun.
oh, there you go. There you have it.
Good night, everyone.
Well, before we end things, did you have any Harry Potter fun facts to throw
It's
out
not
there?
a fun
or-
fact, but it's a fact. This
okay.
week,
Let's make it fun.
the second actor for Dumbledore, Michael
Mhm.
Gambon, passed
Yeah.
away. So we're
I
going to
did
use
see
this
that.
podcast, 5 seconds moment of silence for Dumbledore. All right, and then we'll see you in the new series, Dumbledore, whoever you are. All right, Michael Gambon.
Yeah.
Tell Snape I said hi, and tell Hagrid we miss you.
True.
Harry.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I actually did see. I forgot to put this in the podcast, but I mean, it's not really that much of an update per se because we already figured this to be the case. But they did say that the Harry Potter show would a lot more faithfully adapt the books than the movies did.
Which I'm fucking overjoyed about.
But they also confirmed that it's still like a long ways away.
It better be. They better take their time with this shit.
Sheesh.
They fuck it up. I'll never trust them again, dude. Game of Thrones, I don't care. Even if it's good, I'm not watching it. If they ruin Harry Potter.
So, are we talking like? Are you gonna give it a couple seasons, or are you just saying like if the first season is trash, you're done?
I'll know after the first episode.
The first episode.
Yeah,
The
100%.
first minute of the first episode, he's just like
how
no.
how they started off is because I think they shouldn't start it how the book started. I think they should do a little like based on information we get in later books. They should show something from later books that if you haven't seen Harry Potter, you wouldn't know what it is, but will come up later and like maybe later in the season or in later seasons in the different books.
That's actually a cool concept.
Well, yeah, like maybe it opens with a scene of a young Snape and Lily and some of their interactions that Harry finds out about later in the pensive. But since we know about this now from the first season, we might not have to see that in the pensive. We can focus on something else that was in the books. Like, I feel like if they learn, because there's just so much in the books that they're not gonna get it all. Like,
True.
But I feel like taking those little artistic shortcuts, I don't want to call them a shortcut, but it's essentially a shortcut, will help them, tell the cohesive story that the books do.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see what
I
they
can talk about it on. You with Star Wars, as like me with Harry Potter, like I could talk about it.
For sure,
forever.
for sure.
And I'm gonna. So what I think's gonna.
I think we all hope that it's gonna work out and be good, but I guess we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed, as is the case with anything. But all right, well, with that being said, is there any closing remarks, any final things you guys wanted to say before we end the stream?
I don't think so.
Nora.
All right,
Not
well,
a clue.
you heard it here first. Well, next time, we'll have, the finale of Ahsoka. We'll have a couple episodes of Loki. We'll have a couple more episodes of Gen V to talk about, and hopefully some additional good news about the SAG-AFTRA strikes and potentially a new deal, which would then mean that we might finally start getting more official news to talk about on here rather than having to wait a month to have the next podcast. But yeah, anyways, that's all stuff that I guess you can look forward to for the next time, which will, unless things change for the better, that is, probably be in another 3 weeks from now, like we have been doing as of late. But again, as always, we'll definitely make sure to have a schedule of the stream a couple days in advance whenever we know on the good old YouTube feed. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for us. And everyone have a good rest of your day or rest of your night, depending where you're at in the good old globe. And we'll see you next time.
I thought the globe was flat.
All right.